Season, not much wind, so the sailing may not be good, but it's a good night for baseball here at Petco Park. A short three-game series after the All-Star break. The Arizona Diamondbacks in town to meet the first-place San Diego Padres. And good evening, everyone, along with Mark Grant. Happy to have you with us. Nice vacation up in Lake Tahoe. Look how refreshed my man. Look, he's ready to rock and fire. And, of course, the way the season's gone, we're all a little on our toes.
You know what, Dick? In the minor leagues, their seasons are split in halves. They have the first half winner and the second half winner. Hey, consider it done, Padre fans. There's a lot of baseball left, but it's good to sit here July 16th and realize that the Padres are 2 games up in the National League West.
Let's look at the standings. 74 games to go. Back in March, late March, early April, if you had said there are the standings at the midseason, wouldn't you have taken that? Padres 51-37?
Absolutely. In fact, I remember you and I were eating over in Peoria under that canopy, and you said to me, you know what, Mark, I think after the All-Star break, the Padres are going to have about 50 or 51 wins.
That's right.
But no, a lot of people did not think that this was going to happen. In fact, you could have almost flip-flopped that standings right there. A lot of the pundits in spring training thought it was going to be the other way around.
Well, almost everyone around the nation picked the Padres, not even fourth in the National League West. Unanimously, they were picked last, including an astute reporter with the Arizona Republic.
Yeah, take this, Padre fans. How about chewing on this for a little bit? Mr. Bob McManaman. Ask 5 friends their pick to win the NL West. You'll probably get at least 4 different responses. If they think the Padres are contenders, find a new friend. San Diego is a rebuilding project years away from completion. And you know what? Bob wasn't the only guy that thought that about the Padres. A lot of the publications like this one in spring training, the Padres, last place, look for a lot of low-scoring games, which we've seen. The Padres seek to remake their team. So, hey, you know what? The Padres have played great baseball and proving the pundits wrong.
So San Diego's pitching, along with a defense that ranks tops in the National League, has combined, even though they haven't had the big bombers. Here, this Arizona team has a total of 100 home runs. The first 6 guys in their order tonight have more home runs than the entire Padre team.
And that's the one thing for the Padres the second half of the season. There are some guys with some aches and pains, like a lot of the teams do have. But if they can remain healthy, they've done it on pitching and defense. Hopefully it remains the last 2.5 months of the season.
2 additions. We'll talk about them later. Right-handed pitcher Ernest Frieri. He's been called up. He was the top stopper at Portland. And Luis Durango is back as well. We'll get into that later. But now let's look at our pitching matchup. Our starters tonight for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Don't be fooled by that 7-7 record for Dan Herron. Around the clubhouse, they'll say this guy has top 10 stuff in the entire National League. And for the Padres, John Garland seeks his 9th win of the year. And our starting matchup is brought to you by Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. We're in the historic heart of San Diego, Petco Park, and Padres baseball. And the closed captioning is brought to you by Corky. Some pitchers do throw heat. Corky throws heat at termites. Find out about Corky's totally green heat treatment today. Corky's. John Garland, age 30, product of the San Fernando Valley, Granada Hills. There are his marks. Starting pitcher profile brought to you by the Mark Condos, luxurious downtown San Diego condos. From the 300s, go to the Mark, sandiego.com, and he gets us started tonight with a called strike.
And a fresh start for John Garland as the second half of the season is underway. John in the past has been known for throwing a lot of pitches early. Being economical with his pitches is a big key for John.
A ball and a strike. Last year, he led the National League in walks plus hits. In other words, he was stingy. You couldn't get on base against John, but he's been more generous with the walks this year. Would like to correct that. Chris Young, it's symbolic in a way of this Arizona Diamondback team, how they can score runs. Here's your leadoff man with 15 home runs, and he leads the team, your leadoff man, with 61 RBIs. 1-2. But he also strikes out a lot, as do most of the Diamondbacks. They lead the major leagues most strikeouts. 817 times they fanned. Number 2 hasn't Florida. 700 hasn't hit 700 yet.
And that's playing right into the hand of the San Diego Padres with their pitching staff. They can strike out some hitters, so it should work to the advantage of the Padres. You'll probably see this team swing and miss a lot. A totally different ballpark for new manager Kirk Gibson, playing at Chase Field in Arizona as opposed to Petco Park here in San Diego.
A.J. Hinch, who started the season as the skipper, fired a couple of weeks ago, and Kirk Gibson, who was the bench coach, takes over as the manager at age 53. First time he has been a skipper of a ball club. We all remember him as an outstanding baseball and football All-America at Michigan State. Wide receiver. 2-2 to Young. Ooh, just missed off the plate. Slider that didn't quite catch that outside corner. You heard some of the fans down there behind home plate trying to help out the umpiring crew.
Remember, John Garland throws that hard sinker into the righties and slider down and away.
Chop to third. Young can run. Long throw, Headley. Just in time. And a check of the starting lineup for the Arizona D-backs, brought to you by Floor Trader. Pay way less for your flooring and take it home today. Now open in Lemon Grove. Young, Johnson, Upton, Montero, good-looking hitting catcher. He was on the injured list for a month and a half. He's back now. Mark Reynolds, lots of home runs, lots of strikeouts. LaRoche, Drew, Parra, and the pitcher, Herron. And he has the best average of anyone in the lineup. Herron, he's on a 7-game hitting streak, a pitcher. Betting .392.
He's a darn good athlete, along with this guy up at the plate, Kelly Johnson. But this team, they hit the long ball. They're third in the National League in home runs. That's a big part of the Diamondbacks game.
14 by Johnson, as you saw. 1-1.
There's Dan Herron towing the slab tonight for the Arizona Diamondbacks. He's a good one. We'll get into their pitching as he takes the hill.
There's another strike from Garland. In fact, Herron 0-3 in his last 3 starts, but his ERA is around 3. He just isn't getting any hitting support when he takes them on. And then if he does have a lead, that bullpen has been a disaster all season for Arizona. Ooh, up to 93 on that one.
I was just thinking the same thing.
He's well rested, Garland.
John Garland. Rested and full of life. That 93-mile-an-hour fastball.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Doug Eddings is our ball and strike umpire tonight. You heard him say, no, inside, full count. There's the rest of the crew. Slap foul.
Well, going into this year, the Arizona Diamondbacks thought that they had all their pieces in place to have a successful season. But as they go into tonight's game, 17.5 games. Kirk Gibson trying to turn it around.
Well, they had a disastrous losing streak on the road, 14 straight. That's when Hinch was relieved. Another foul. Count remains full. Well, we saw Johnson, remember, in the very first series of the season in Arizona, and he touched up Kevin Correa for a couple of home runs in the rubber game of that series. Arizona taking 2 out of 3 way back in early April. Popped into shallow center. Gwynn on his horse, can't get there. So Johnson with a looper to center for the first hit of the game.
Off the bat, as a pitcher, you're thinking, okay, I got in the kitchen to Kelly Johnson. I made my pitch. You know, Tony Gwynn has played an outstanding center field for the Padres. But look at the swing. Big swing. Maybe he got that off the end of the bat. Kelly Johnson got his hands through, but Tony kind of held his ground a little bit. And then, even with the speed of Tony Gwynn, couldn't quite catch up to that little looper.
As you saw, his first instinct was to take one step back, and then he raced. Base hit for Johnson, who, by the way, leads the Arizona Diamondbacks, a slugging percentage of almost .500. Justin Upton, .259, his average. He has 14 home runs. There's a shot to right center field, and it's up the alley. Johnson racing around second to third. Here comes the relay in. Johnson's going to try to score, and does. And the Diamondbacks get a run out of their first 3 hitters. Upton, a solid double to right center to drive in his 43rd run of the year. Now these Diamondbacks will score some runs now, so beware.
Well, one of the things that Kirk Gibson said when he took over, he wanted to really try to change the approach of these hitters, cut down on the strikeouts, just putting the ball in play. Well, we know that Justin Upton got his brother mixed up. He's got some pop in that bat, but that's a perfect example. Taking that fastball, going the other way, and that's what these Diamondbacks need to do to turn it around.
So an early 1-0 lead, and a chance for more is Miguel Montero, left-handed hitting catcher. He has the top average of the D-backs, .348. He looked very good when we saw him early in April, and then was injured and on the shelf for a considerable amount of time. His return bolsters an already heavy hitting lineup.
Well, like any hitter, Montero has made an adjustment. Just like Upton, that last hit going the opposite way, Montero has done the same thing. And playing in a place like Chase Field in Arizona, if you take the ball the other way, there's a good chance of hitting the ball out of that yard. He's that good of a hitter where he can take you out the opposite way in their home field.
Young with his RBI double at second, just one out here in the opening inning. Garland has been very effective in his starts here at Petco this year. Out of play. He's 4-1 here in San Diego with a 2.62 ERA. Now, for the first time in the evening, no cloud cover, and it's been very hot today throughout Southern California. You would expect that the ball will carry more than we've seen it the first 3 months of the season. Pickoff move, not in time.
Oh, looked like they had him. Seeing that play develop at second base, as Jerry Harrison Jr. gave the old open glove. That's a timing play. Garland will spin and throw when he sees the open glove, the daylight play. See the open glove, and then back in time is Upton.
1-2. Crowd still coming in on this Friday night. 5:30 tomorrow night. Rodrigo Lopez for Arizona. Clayton Richard for the Padres. Don't forget that's cap night, you kids. 25,000 first 25,000. That's a nice looking bowl cap. Well, it's been well documented that here of late, John Garland has struggled the first 2 or 3 innings, and then after the third, he's like a different pitcher. So he's hoping to get off to a solid start. Darren Bolsey, the pitching coach tonight.
I've heard of people talk about how to break that. even people having a little fun saying, hey, throw a simulated game down there in that bullpen to where you pitch to 6 or 8 hitters to get those first 2 innings out under your belt. And then head out there as if the first inning would be the 3rd or 4th. Hey, John Garland knows what he's been around the block a few times. He knows what's going on out there.
Hundley out to chat with his right-hander. With Chris Young out there at second base trying to sneak a peek at the signs.
And Darren Balsley, the pitching coach for the Padres, he's going to not leave any stone unturned. Scouting reports, helping out John Garland in bullpens in between starts.
Again, it's announced today Matt Latos and Mike Adams are both on the 15-day disabled list. Look for Ryan Webb to fill the 7th inning void left by, or 8th inning, probably move Gregerson 8th inning and Webb to the 7th inning slot in the bullpen. Full count.
And just to elaborate on that point, isn't that a great luxury to have with the numbers and the arm and the stuff that Ryan Webb has to fill in the 7th inning? When somebody goes down, you can bang, just immediately input somebody, as Ryan's sporting the hoodie there tonight.
Sitting next to Adams,
Yep.
will share his knowledge. 3rd full count in this 1st inning. Ground ball right side to Gonzalez. 3-1 on the putout as Upton moves to 3rd. 2 away. And here is third baseman Mark Reynolds. 122 strikeouts already for the man who led the majors in strikeouts last year. But when he connects, watch out. Look at those home runs. 20 so far this season. So he's on pace for nearly another 40 home run season.
Yeah, I'm sure Mark Reynolds is sick and tired of hearing about it. But when you break your own strikeout record, 2008 set a record with 204 strikeouts. Last year broke his own record at 223. But you know what, though? This guy could play in my lineup anytime. You hit 40-plus home runs a year. Good to go with a guy like that.
Not often shortchanged on his swings. One run in. Upton at 3rd with the RBI double. 2 outs. Threw that one right by Reynolds with a sink.
Yeah, that had a little run to it, a little sinker at 92. So as we mentioned earlier, John Garland feeling a little froggy out there tonight. Like to see that. That arm, that wing is well rested.
Two and one. You may be wondering about Matt Latos. The word is that he tried to stifle a sneeze and pulled something in his rib cage. Nothing serious. And with a twinkle in his eye, Bud Black said, yeah, I think he'll be back a week from tomorrow in Pittsburgh.
So the moral of the story is to, if you're going to sneeze, let her rip. Just let her go. Just cover your mouth. You don't want to spread any germs.
No, that's right.
But don't hold it back. You can get hurt.
2-2 now on Mark Reynolds. Wouldn't chase the fastball.
He had him set up nicely for that fastball as well. That fastball was by Reynolds, and looked like he was late setting up in that position, getting those hands back, but John just missed with that location.
5 hitters in the inning. 4 have gone to a full count. Swing and a miss, strike 3. But the Diamondbacks dent the scoreboard. A run on a couple of hits. They leave a man at 3rd. It'll be Hairston, Eckstein, and Gonzalez for the Padres in the bottom of the 1st. It's brought to you by Carl's Jr. Get more fruit in your diet with the Hawaiian teriyaki chicken sandwich. A gorgeous night this Friday evening in San Diego as Dan Herron goes to work. The 29-year-old from La Puente went to Bishop Ahmad High School in Orange County. He's a strikeout pitcher, and he doesn't walk many. He also gives up a lot of hits. Pours in a strike to Jerry Hairston. And here is his pitching profile, brought to you by the all-new Cadillac SRX, the Cadillac of crossovers.
And the thing there, Dick, is that you're going to get pitches to hit, but what does he do with those pitches in the zone? He will sink it, the fastball about 88 to 93. Sometimes he'll straighten it out. But that cutter into lefties, a split finger, and a curveball. But the bottom line is he is around the plate, and he will expand that strike zone with stuff in the dirt.
That's fouled away 1-2 to Jerry Hairston, hitting .248. There are his numbers with 6 home runs. Been productive, 32 runs batted in. Playing shortstop tonight, Everett Cabrera, given a night off. The veteran Hairston has had good success against Herron. And Herron, 1-2. Down low, didn't chase that sinker. Herron, the Padres have beaten him only one time. He's 5-1 against San Diego with an ERA at 2.89. Didn't chase, and the count goes full.
He's got that pause at the top of his delivery. It's a good second and a half pause. That's just his timing mechanism before he starts to shoot rock fire towards home plate. That was that split finger fastball that he tried to bury to Hairston that last pitch.
That ball hit on a line, but right at center fielder Chris Young. And a look at the Padre lineup tonight, brought to you by Alpine Rock and Block. Start your next backyard project with Alpine Rock and Block. You almost need to have your surname start with G or H to get in the lineup. Jerry Hairston, Eckstein breaks the mold. Gonzalez, Headley, Hundley, Hairston, Cunningham, Gwynn, Garland. So 3 G's and 4 H's in the starting lineup.
And you're familiar with 4-H, hands, heart, health, head.
I was a member of the 4-H club back in Michigan farm days. And the FFA, by the way. Future Farmers of America. Look where it led me. David Eckstein, good to have him back in the lineup after missing a week with that injured calf. Lines that one down the left field side. Over to cut it off is Hara, the left fielder, and Eckstein a big turn and will hold with a long single. Welcome back.
Well, we know David Eckstein will take a lot of pitches and work that count. He gets a pitch. That looks like a hanging slider, and a good job of Eck. Almost like a two-part swing. Had his foot out there, kept his hands back, recognizing the pitch, and getting on top of that baseball rather than underneath for an easy fly ball for Parra. Once again, good hitting to start the second half of the season for David Eckstein.
That takes away the shift from the Diamondbacks infield. They'll have to play it honestly with Gonzalez up there. There's a fastball strike. Gonzalez starting the second half of the year at .301, leading the club in home runs and RBIs in most every offensive category. Runs, hits, doubles, and all the rest. Walks, unfortunately. Adrian and Heath Bell, Bud Black back from Anaheim, the All-Star game on Tuesday. National League, they played it tough and with emotion, that 3-1 win. It was good to see. Some don't like the fact that there is so much weight placed on winning the All-Star game, the weight being you get home field advantage in the World Series. I like the way both teams played. They played hard.
And I'll be quite honest with you, when Hong Chi-Kuo threw that ball away and the American League had second and third with nobody out, I thought it was going to be a huge inning for the junior circuit, but the pitching came through.
That ball hit to left field. Parra toward the line. 2 away.
So the Cubs have had 100 bad years. National League had 13 bad years. They bounced back nicely.
And for those of you that saw the ratings, I guess they were one of the lowest all time. And I I was saddened by that fact because I thought it was a terrific production. I thought the game was impelling, and the way Major League Baseball produced the pregame ceremonies, that was A+. Here's Chase Headley, 269. There goes the runner, and it's an easy steal for Eckstein. Well, Heron not paying due respect to Eckstein. Just gave a token look over there, and Eckstein moves himself into scoring position.
Heron uses an abbreviated leg kick. It wasn't really a slide step, but a quick motion towards home plate. And David Eckstein goes in with the second half King Stallman stolen base right out of the chute. David Eckstein. So the Padres doing a little stealing early on this game.
6th of the season for Eckstein.
So hopefully Chase Headley will bail him out with a base hit and the run.
Oh, you are on your game. That's only the first inning. Save that for later.
Where scratch you that off my list of ad libs.
Yeah, where are you going to go from here? 1-1. Good sinker there. Split finger.
Yep, it had that sinker action to it.
So 1-2 on Headley. Hitting from a strong side, the left side. Consistently this year, around 300, hitting left-handed.
This is where you'll see that cut fastball.
Chop foul.
Heron looked like he got a little tangled up on that pitch as he threw it plateward.
Just a quick deduction about the ceremonies. I was really touched. I thought the idea, as you watch this again, of the Major League Baseball bringing the community champions from each of the Major League teams, and they had them between home plate and pitcher's mound, and each one was introduced by a star on television giving their little story of what they've done for society. 1-2 the count. Another foul. And then obviously the fans at Anaheim Stadium were able to watch that on the big screen, and when it was over they gave those community service stars a standing ovation. What touched me was the ball players who were lined up on the first and third base foul lines. They broke ranks and went in and hugged and shook hands of all these.
Nice.
I thought that was terrific.
Yeah. And you gave him an A+?
A+.
And that's a tough grader there, folks.
First of the year.
Yep.
1-2 to Headley.
We're going to have to keep an eye on Heron after that little miscue a couple pitches ago that we showed you. He was a little tentative the pitches after. That's the see his land foot, his left foot kind of after the pitch he came up actually off the ground. That foot came up off the ground and he spun. We'll have to keep an eye on the right-hander.
You can see he's one of the tall pitchers in the big league, 6'5". We talked about him being a strikeout pitcher. He was third in the National League a year ago, and he's almost a strikeout per inning this year.
There's his landing spot there, and that clay. And there's the split finger in the dirt.
The Padres have been a good job here in the first inning of laying off that sinker.
Unlike the approaches the Diamondbacks have taken in this season, striking out a lot, this Padre team, they've got a great idea of what they're doing. Randy Reddy's done a great job as the hitting coach, getting these guys in the right frame of mind and getting good approaches at the plate.
Headley, as is his wont, fouling off pitch after pitch. That was a split finger. There's Randy Reddy, part of the faculty. Buddy Black's outstanding team of teachers. Ballsy, the pitching coach.
He's a good one.
Hoffman over at third. Renteria at first, and Renteria has company now. I'm not sure Headley knew it was 3-2. Well, apparently not.
Well, the Padres had a workout yesterday, and coaches were in that clubhouse at 2 o'clock for the 5 o'clock workout, doing some homework on the Diamondbacks.
Another foul. He keeps throwing that split finger or sinker, and Headley keeps fouling it off, hoping he'll get one elevated and can drive in next time with a tying run.
And, you know, it's so hard to lay off because that pitch looks like it's going to be in the hitting zone for a strike, and you have to protect with 2 strikes.
11th pitch of this at-bat coming up.
He might try to sneak a little piece of cheese by him here, maybe a fastball away. Nope.
Now another low pitch. It's in the dirt, and they record the out at first base. So Headley strikes out 2-3 on the putout. No runs a hit. Eckstein left at second. After one, the D-backs lead at 1-0. Tomorrow night, 5:35 start against the D-backs. First 25,000 of you fans will get a brand new Padres cap. It's presented by San Diego County Credit Union. A lot of tickets sold already. There are some left, so get on board. Save $5 a ticket by logging on to Padres.com to buying your tickets. Cap night tomorrow night.
You have to get a cap at the ballpark in the summertime, don't you?
If you don't want one, how about your kid, your grandson, granddaughter? Adam LaRoche, Stephen Drew, and Gerardo Parra to bat for Arizona against Garland here in the second. Out of play. When we saw LaRoche, who was one of the major acquisitions by Arizona this year, back in the first series of the season, he had his own share of struggles. As I recall, he went 0 for 12. Yes, 0 for 12 in that first 3-game series. Inside, 2-1. "13 home runs, 55 runs batted in for LaRoche. Now it's a challenging lineup for the Padre pitching in this series. Oh, what a play by Gonzalez. 3-1 as he steals a base hit from LaRoche. Well, Gonzalez does it again.
Oh, it's so nice to have that Gold Glover, that all-star over at first base. A high pitch, and pitchers can sit back and say, you know what, I could put the ball in play and have my defense work. That's one of the things that this Padre team has really hung their hat on this year, the pitching and the defense, and have a guy, that security blanket over that first base is very nice with Adrian over there.
And no matter what his position, his throws just exude accuracy. Stephen Drew takes a strike.
He'd be a great quarterback, hitting his receiver across the middle.
You know what? If you were going to go to the carnival and you wanted to, throw the baseballs and knock down the bottles,
the tires,
or through the tires, a lot of the pitchers would do a good job. But from short range, I would put my dollar with Gonzalez. I mean, he is incredibly accurate. When you watch him warm up before the game, he'll hit the glove every time.
How many stuffed animals would he go home with at a carnival? He'd clean the place out.
Watch how accurate. Doesn't throw it hard. Right there on the run, right where you want it, chest high. 1-2 to Drew. Solid season again, 275. Not with the power you normally expect. 4 home runs. This one right into the glove of Cunningham for the second out. Well, let's look at the Padres defense. Brought to you by Easy Turf, synthetic lawn and putting greens. Best looking synthetic grass is now more affordable. Call 866-EASY-TURF. Headley, Hairston, Eckstein and Gonzalez around the horn. Scott Hairston, Gwynn and Cunningham in the outfield. Hundley behind the plate and Garland on the mound. 2 outs, and here's Gerardo Parra, 270 average. Another left-handed bat. Backdoors that strike.
Nice backdoor slider from John Garland.
Same spot, same result.
Yep.
Chance for the Padres to do some business tonight. Strike 3 called. Fastball. So he hits the outside corner on 3 consecutive pitches. Colorado has lost. The Dodgers are losing. The Padres down 1-0 after 1.5. Island or wherever you may be, come see us on Sunday. The Diamondbacks 105 game, first 10,000 kids 14 and younger take home a Padres wallet presented by BDA. And don't wait, get your tickets early and save $5 per ticket at Padres.com. Hundley leads off the bottom of the second and takes a strike at the knees. Lots of kids out here tonight. Boy, Sunday's going to be busy. It's not only the wallets for the kids, it's a college day, and Marines will be here, always Military Sunday, here at Petco.
I'd love to see the kids wearing their Padre gear. Oh, and keeping score. All decked out. Hey, where's the SD on that binky?
It's under there.
Come on now. Okay, marketing department. Binkies for babies.
No, wait a minute. That's why you're here.
It should be shaped as a baseball and then an SD.
You know what? That isn't a bad idea. Late call strike, 2-2. Hundley, Hairston, Scott Hairston, and Aaron Cunningham for the Padres. Bottom of the second.
Oh, cuteness. There he is.
Rock and fire. High pop foul fly, actually in fair territory, and LaRoche waiting for it to come down. That was way up there. LaRoche part of the Arizona Diamondback defense, and it's brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. Reynolds and Drew on the left side. LaRoche with Johnson at second on the right side. Parr in left, Young in center, Upton the right fielder, Montero and Heron the battery.
Well, to put it into perspective, the San Diego Padres, 33 errors. That's the fewest in the National League. The Diamondbacks with 60 errors. So the Padres Much better defense. Arizona towards the bottom tier in the National League as far as fielding is concerned.
Slider in for a strike. Well, as Buddy Black in addressing the media before the game today said, we don't beat ourselves.
That's right. And you know what? I like the low-scoring games. I like the pitchers' duels because, to me, it boils down to which team is going to make the first mistake and who's going to capitalize on it. To me, that's the way baseball should be played. Rather than teeing it up, three-run shot here, and next thing you know, it's 8-6 in the fourth inning. Then it's 13-12. Those are fine once in a while.
Well, they experienced that 3 games before the All-Star break at Coors Field in Colorado. I mean, it's, pardon the expression, it was a freak house. You know, you didn't know, you couldn't count on what would normally be the result of a swing or a pitch. Just missed. Slider just off the plate, 2-2. Scott Hairston at 241, starting the second half of the season. Second to Gonzalez with 8 home runs. Well, you can see the foul balls here in the first 2 innings. All of them are just smothered around home plate.
That's that split finger fastball that has that dip to it. The hitters commit. The ball acts the way it does by tilting down out of the zone, and hence you top the baseball and pitcher gets a new one.
And another.
Well, he loves that pitch, doesn't he?
Should.
Yeah.
That's his meal ticket.
Check out the last pitch to Scotty Hairston. It's just a little bit.
We're about halfway to the plate. It looks like it's going to be straight. Another pop up. Drew easing out from his shortstop spot.
Now that last pitch looked like it was a cutter. So we're going to take a look at the sequence and how the right-hander Dan Herron goes after Scott Hairston. Remember, we told you he's got the fastball, the cutter, the split finger. First pitch, call that a cutter or a slider. It's got a little tilt to it. But the action, nothing straight. Now that is the one that he buries. And that's the one thing Dan Herron does nicely. He can locate those pitches where he wants to, when he wants to. And see, look at all the dots, Dick. 4 in the strike zone, 5 in the strike zone, only 1 out. And still you can't connect. Why? It's the action of those pitches.
There's a line drive foul off the bat of Aaron Cunningham. Cunningham comes into this homestand with a 10-game hitting streak.
I mean, generally speaking, you have 7 pitch at bat. 6 dots are in the strike zone, and foul balls. Well, he's putting some serious action on those pitches.
There's a good-looking slider. Cunningham has really contributed since coming to the big club from Portland. A .339 average, playing a solid outfield, some big hits. Wow. And the slider gets Cunningham. Second strikeout for Dan Herron. He looks as if he's got his best stuff tonight. Hotel Del. We remind you to get your tickets to any remaining Padres game today and save. Now listen, $5 off on tickets, $14 or more when you buy your online tickets at Padres.com. And the offer is going to end at the end of this month, July 31st. So hurry. Don't forget, the Dodgers are here before the end of the month. Here's a chance to get a bargain ticket, see the Dodgers on the next homestand. Hurry up and get your tickets and join us here at the place to be, Petco Park.
Hey, even I can figure out that math. You buy 5 tickets, you save $25, right?
You know, that's like, you get to feed, get some popcorn or peanuts and maybe a hot dog or two. Yep. Dan Herron, watch out. 7-game hitting streak. He's 20 for 51 this year. 20 for 51 with 7 runs batted in.
He can swing it now.
And Garland treating him with respect. 3-0.
But when John Garland is free and easy with that arm action, he really gets a lot of biting action on that two-seam sinker. And it's a heavy sinker. Probably throw it here again. Yep.
3-2. Another 3-2 count. 5th time in 9 batters. He's gone 3-2.
Oh. Well, I've told this story many times, and it's worth mentioning again, but the late, great Pat Dobson, my pitching coach, dubbed Dennis Rasmussen because every time you look up at the scoreboard, it was 3-2. He dubbed Dennis Count, full count. Well, John Garland may wear that crown.
Swing and a miss, and that's the 3rd strikeout for Garland. As Herron got a taste of his own medicine, that sinker.
And he went right after him with that sinker after falling behind 3-0. Pounded the strike zone with that fastball. That's a big out. Even though he threw a lot of pitches, it's a big out.
Young grounded out to start the ball game. In there. Diamondbacks run came after Young grounded to 3rd. Johnson blooped a single to center and came all the way home on Upton's double to right center. Plenty of drop on that one.
Broke out the curveball. I think that's the first time tonight that we've seen John Garland break out the old number 2. Kind of soften him up a little bit. Now you might go with the hard sinker or slider. Oh, back-to-back curveballs.
That one hung inside, so the count 3-1. And a walk. Along with leading the majors in strikeouts, the Diamondbacks are number 2 in the National League in most walks.
Yep.
That's kind of odd.
It is
strikeouts
odd.
and walks. That's their first tonight.
Well, with the way they swing the bat, they're 3rd in home runs in the National League. Maybe some pitchers get a little tentative and they try to nitpick and work around them. And on the other side, these Diamondback hitters will swing at some bad pitches at times.
Here's Johnson. He looped a single to center and scored the only run of the game. And that was close.
He was spinning his tires over there getting back to first base.
Young leads in stolen bases with 17. Oh, he was going the wrong way. If that throw had been on the bag, he was goner.
Almost looked like the feet of Fred Flintstone underneath his car, trying to get that car going, getting back to first base.
Hard to believe that he shaved this morning, Kirk Gibson.
Yeah. He's got the whole 7:30 shadow.
That's a man's beard.
Yes,
going.
It is.
There goes the runner.
And, I didn't know A.J. Hinch all that well, okay? But when you take a look, and being from my generation, and Dick, I know you've seen a heck of a lot more baseball than I'll ever see. But when you have a guy, I don't care if this guy has no managerial experience or whatever, but when Kirk Gibson is at the helm, that's a guy who's going to demand some respect. Just by the way he has handled himself as a player, as a coach, and he brings that feeling of, we better get our stuff together in that clubhouse and on the field. And I'm not saying A.J. Hinch wasn't like that. I'm just saying, Kirk Gibson, that's a big-time name, taking charge.
0-2. He said, hey, I was a dead pull hitter, and I struck out a lot when I came up to the big leagues with the Tigers. #1 draft pick. But I learned to adjust. Hit the pitch away. And he said, my team ought to be able to do that, too. Young with a big lead. One out here in the third. 1-0 D-backs.
I'll tell you what, was Tiger Stadium, the old Tiger Stadium, built for a guy like Kirk Gibson or what?
Tap to short. There's one. Back to first. Double play. Johnson doubled up. Boy, they had to hurry, and Eckstein a great job on the pivot. 6-4-3, and that's it for the Diamondbacks here in the second. Eckstein's quick feet and strong arm, and they double up Johnson. Padres baseball brought to you by the 9 Honda dealers of San Diego County. Stop by and check out the latest offers on a brand new Honda Accord. And Cox high-speed internet. Ready for higher speed? Go to Cox.com. 1-0 Arizona as we go to the bottom of the third. It'll be Tony Gwynn, John Garland, and the leadoff man, Jerry Hairston.
Cotton candy. Summer baseball.
It is summer tonight. Finally has arrived this week.
106 in El Cajon coming into the ball yard today on the 8. Oh, yeah, smoking.
1-1 to Gwynn. 221 he checks in. 2 home runs and 18 runs batted in. Tony's really letting that hair on his chinny chin go, huh?
Hey.
He's getting it down there.
Looks good. Nice full beard there.
Yeah, with that face, anything would look good. And that smile. And that name.
Yeah.
Lays off the high fastball. 2-2. Now 3 games with the D-backs, then on the road to Atlanta and Pittsburgh. Atlanta with an amazing at the All-Star break home record, by far the best in baseball, 30-10.
Isn't that amazing how they turned it around?
Another foul, and The Padres, through the first 2 innings in this at bat, gone through a couple dozen baseballs.
Cannot seem to square up on that Dan Herron cutter, slider, that split-fingered fastball. Next pitch for Dan Herron will be number 44.
And another foul. And just the attitude of Aaron when he got the ball back from his catchers if to say, come on, you guys, hit the ball.
Yeah, it's frustrating as a pitcher sometimes. You throw a lot of pitches up there and teams are fouling it off. You know, a big key, as you mentioned, Dick, the bullpen for the Diamondbacks being horrific this year. ERA just under 7. Got to get into that bullpen.
Strike 3 at the knees. Gwynn didn't like it. That's a pitcher's strike. Third strikeout for Dan Herron.
Yeah, Dan Herron may have gotten a call, but more times than not, that pitch that is down. And we've got the Carl's Jr. pitch track. What does track say? Right on the line and about the outer third of home plate. More times than not, though, that pitch is going to be called a ball, or in essence, it is a strike.
Fastball down the middle for a strike to John Garland. John, 5 hits this year, has 1 RBI. Well, you folks down around home plate and in the mezzanine, be ready with your gloves tonight. A lot of foul balls. Gonzalez and Gwynn, little discussion. Undoubtedly asking, what'd you think? Adrian, from the side, you get a good look at whether or not that ball might have hit the plate at the knees, which at least pitch tracks indicated it did.
Also, sometimes, you know, both being left-handed hitters, maybe Herron, I think Dan Herron's good enough to where he's going to mix it up, but he might fall into a pattern now and then. Talk about sequence of pitches. Let's take a look at the side on that call third strike. Well, that looked like it was below the knees, didn't it?
It did, yeah. Two and two to Garland. Wouldn't fish for the fastball away, nor the splitter down in the dirt. And Herron having to throw another pitch. And another strikeout. That's 3 in a row for Dan Herron. He got Cunningham to close out the second, and Gwynn and Garland to open the third. High definition, isn't it terrific? And it's brought to you by Irving Hughes. Life is a lease. Negotiate well. Beautiful, warm, comfortable summer night.
I'm going to have to get rid of that Philco I got at home. Get a new high-def TV to experience.
That was an Emerson, black and white there, that 12-incher. That was our first on the farm. That was our first black and white Emerson. Jerry Hairston lined to center to open the first inning.
That was the remote control in our house. My dad's, hey, get up and change the channel.
That's when you first recognized that your name at times was Hey You. Huh? Yeah. Helped out as an athlete, didn't it?
Yeah.
I always thought part of my name was all the rest of you, because he'd say, all right, first team on the field, all the rest of you go down with Coach Jones.
We'll find out something to do with you later.
2 strikes to Jerry Hairston.
Once again, a lot of movement from Herron, out of the hand of Herron. Down and into righties, down and away to righties, slider, sinker, split finger.
Padres with only 1 base runner. Eckstein single with 1 out in the first. He stole second, but stayed there as Headley struck out. Strike 3. Good pitch. Herron strikes out the side. That's 4 in a row for Dan Herron. After 3 here at Petco. 1-0 Arizona. Tonight's Truly Nolan trivia question. Tonight's question, who was the first Padre to hit 50 home runs in a season? Stay tuned for the answer during an upcoming commercial break. So after 3, a 1-0 Arizona lead. They put their 2 hits together in the first inning, a single by Johnson, and this man, Justin Upton, found the gap in right center for a long double that scored Johnson all the way from first. It'll be Upton, Montero, and Reynolds for the D-backs here in the 4th. Arizona starting the game 17.5 games behind the Padres, winning 34 and losing 55. Very disappointing year for the fans in Arizona. Off the head of the bat foul. Down to Matt Williams, former Giant great.
Now there are 2 guys, Matt Williams, the first base coach, as you mentioned, Dick, and the manager named after A.J. Hinch was let go, Kirk Gibson. 2 intense guys in uniform on the field for the Diamondbacks. I played with Matt Williams, and he is one tough competitor. It's go time when he's on the field as a player.
That looks like a no-nonsense posture as we see him. Count goes full. Justin Upton. So Lopez and Richard tomorrow night, and the Sunday game will be Edwin Jackson against Kevin Correa. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at Atlanta. Next weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday games against the Pirates in the Steel City.
I heard Washington, D.C. was smoking 99 degrees, 100 degrees.
Again.
And then you went to Denver, which is nice. But you talk about major humidity. Atlanta and Pittsburgh.
Atlanta.
Yeah.
But at least the humidity is low.
Oh, man, you can cut it with a knife back there. My goodness. And that's, it's a good test for teams. How, July and August seem to get a little longer as the season goes on, And playing in that type of weather after playing in San Diego.
Yeah, the Padres best be ready because they're going to be on the road a whole bunch in August.
Mm-hmm. Only 10 home dates in August, correct?
That's going to be a test.
Yep. And they've passed all the other tests this year quite nicely, haven't they?
Yeah. Indeed. Strike 3. Upton caught looking. Too good a pitch to take. 4th strikeout for Garland.
Well, you've heard of the backdoor slider. How about the front door slider? Starting it at the belt buckle on the inside part of the plate. The hitter gives up on it, and it catches the inside corner. Nicely done by John Garland.
Montero grounded to Gonzalez his first time up. Center fielder Gwynn giving ground on the track. 2 away. And how about this comparison brought to you by the San Diego County Toyota dealers? Last year, Garland, the first half of the season, had an ERA of 4.53. Then the second half of the season dropped that more than a run a game, 3.42. Perhaps a good omen as the Padres move forward here in 2010.
And in any sport, it's not how you start, it's how you finish, correct, right? Randy Jones, the old sinker baller, would say, you know what, probably John Garland gets in touch with that sinker a little bit more. Maybe the sinker baller, like a Randy Jones, he said when he got a little tired, wouldn't try as hard, and that sinker would sink a little bit more. But those are good numbers for John Garland and a good sign for the Padres, as you mentioned.
Reynolds just missing on that sharp ground ball down the third baseline. Doug Eddings has one of the better arms behind the home plate, doesn't he? A plate umpire can rock and fire.
Sure.
Fastball at 93 through the swing of Mark Reynolds.
Well, it looked like Reynolds really late on that fastball. Maybe he was thinking off speed, but now John Garland finds himself ahead 1-2. Where he got him up and in with a little sinker up and in last time.
Ooh, that didn't miss by much, just off the corner. Reynolds struck out his first time up.
I think that's a good call. This ball's going to be off the plate.
2-2. Another full count.
Count. I dub the count full count.
And a walk to Reynolds with 2 outs. Second walk from Garland brings up Adam LaRoche.
Hey, John's not trying to go full count every time. Obviously, he wants to keep that pitch count down. He's got a game plan. He's up to 71 pitches early. It's a lot of pitches here in the 4th inning.
And through 3 innings, Heron, despite allowing only 1 base runner, has thrown 55 pitches with all the foul balls.
Yep.
LaRoche robbed of a hit by Gonzalez, spearing his sharp ground ball in the hole first time up. Backdoor slider. Reynolds at first, 2 outs here in the 4th.
Okay, now from a baseball fan standpoint, Mr. Enberg, when you're talking about the weather that we've been talking about lately, would you rather have it hot and humid, or would you like it as windy at St. Andrews right now across the pond?
I don't think anybody enjoyed the golf today in Scotland.
Baseball is no fun, especially in spring training when it's really windy. Give me the humidity, give me the heat. Wearing the baseball uniform, you stay hot, you stay loose.
I don't think wind helps any sport.
No, terrible.
It's terrible in football, too.
Yep.
It takes away the passing game. Ball and a strike now to LaRoche.
Boy, pretty good fastball to hit. And LaRoche just couldn't catch up to it. Let's check out the last pitch. Well, you know what? I take that back. That looked like it had a little cut to it, like maybe a little cutter or a little slider.
Eckstein way out on the grass at second base. 2-2. They play LaRoche much the way opposing defenses take on Adrian Gonzalez. They play him to pull on the infield, but play slightly toward left in the outfield. There goes the runner. Out of play. Way down into the left field corner.
Well, John's been around the plate. He has walked 2 Diamondbacks, Chris Young in the 3rd, and Reynolds just previous to LaRoche going to the plate. So putting that runner in motion. And you see the pitch breakdown, getting up there. I think the left-hander, Bud Black, he's got a little counter there in that hand, counting pitches himself. Either that or he's counting attendance here tonight at Petco Park. He's having a little look.
Another one just came in.
Yep. Oh, it looks like a stopwatch, yeah. Getting some times from Garland to the plate. Reset.
He had an interesting story. Said at the All-Star game, Corey Hart, who was knocking out a lot of home runs in that home run derby, went up to him and said, you know, some of those would have been out at Petco Park. And Hart said, yeah. And Black said, I was hoping for a more enthusiastic response. Chop to Gonzalez, and an easy play at first. The inning is over. We go to the bottom of the fourth. It'll be Eckstein, Gonzalez, and Headley to bat for the Padres. 1-0. Three-game homestand with the D-backs. Not only Wallet Day, but it's College Sunday, and you college kids get your tickets for $8.50. How about that for a Sunday game? Have some fun at the old ballpark. Party starts early. DJ before the game. Get your tickets at Padres.com/college nights and enjoy the bargain. Half price. Eckstein smiling at the call. Strike one. He has the only Padre base hit, a line drive to left back in the first inning. 1-0 Arizona. So far, Heron has been a mighty tough pitcher for the Padres tonight. No surprise there. Another line drive into the left field corner. Parra going back. Can't make the catch, and it bounces into the stands for a ground rule double. So Eckstein, a little more juice on that swing. He lined it to left, couldn't get it by Parra his first time up, and he's able to drive this just over the reach of the left fielder for his second hit tonight.
Hey, 2 times tonight that David Eckstein has gone to left field. The first one for a single, but a little bit more oomph, as you put it, just out of the reach. Bouncing on that track and out, and David Eckstein halfway to the cycle. A single and a double. And speaking of cycles, how about Benji Molina tonight for the Rangers? Believe it or not, yes, Benji Molina hitting for the cycle. Triple? Can you believe it?
Gonzalez up, tying run at second, no one out. He flied to left his first at bat. You see, he closed well before the All-Star break, raising his average to 301. Padres hitting so well on that 6-game road trip at Washington and Colorado. That ball hit well to left field. Parra's going back. Touch 'em all. Number 19 for Adrian Gonzalez, the Padre All-Star, gives San Diego a 2-1 lead.
Well, we mentioned earlier, Dan Heron will give up some hits, and he'll also give up some home runs. That is his 20th home run given up this year, and vintage Adrian Gonzalez squares up on that one nicely. and right into the glove of that Padre fan in left field. Thank you very much.
And Headley with a drive into the right field corner, and he turns first. And he has the third consecutive hit here in the fourth inning. Well, Eckstein sets the table with his ground rule double to left. Gonzalez lines a home run into the first row of the left field bleachers. And Headley joins the hit parade. 2-1 San Diego, and chance for more here with no one out.
Chase Headley doing a nice job. Look at this breaking ball from Herron. He wants it down and away. It's down and in, and that speeds up the bat of Chase Headley. That's in his wheelhouse. Yeah, this is nice. A double, home run, double, and still nobody out here. A lot of smiles in that Padre dugout.
Catcher Nick Hundley trying to move that runner to third. Might take a shot to the right side. He does. Base hit. Better than moving the runner to third. They're going to hold Headley at third as the throw comes in from Justin Upton. So 4 straight hits for the Padres. First and third, no one out.
Good hitting. Great hitting. Slider down and away. And Nick Hundley with the runner on second base. Hey, if he hits it to a fielder, right, you still move him up. It's a win-win right there for Nick Hundley as he finds the hole on the right side. And pitching coach Mel Stottlemyre Jr. having a chat with the Herron.
Well, this is out of character for Herron. Cruising along through the first 3 innings, allowing only 1 hit, striking out 5. And then the door opens. Eckstein with a ground rule double. Gonzalez 2-run homer. Hundley double into the right field corner. Hundley a single to right. All the balls hit well.
And how about this? Those hits you were just talking about, Gonzalez, Headley, Hundley, all on the first pitch.
Well, the old captain, you saw him. Eckstein, he starts things again. Great to have him back in the starting lineup. Here's Scott Hairston. Infield back will give up a run for a double play. Hairston popped up, shortstop, first at bat. Ooh, a great stop. Montero digging that one out of the dirt.
You know, I want to correct myself. The home run was an 0-1 pitch, but after that 0-1 pitch, bang, bang go the Padres, and there's that pitch that's picked out of the dirt by Montero. That's a huge scoop by the D-back catcher.
Ball 2. Especially going back to the play by Montero because it hit the back point of home plate, and that sometimes takes a little different skid. Montero gloved it cleanly. And now Hairston sits on a 2-0 pitch. No one out, first and third. Eckstein, who's favoring a bad calf and finally back in the lineup. They're taking pot shots at our man.
Slider off the end of the bat, finding the Padre dugout. Ugly finder.
Little hip check. 2-1. Did he go? Yes. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, the proof is in the pudding, absolutely. Scotty goes on that swing, on that pitch, I should say.
Anything on the ground up the middle scores another run. 2-1 San Diego, bottom of the fourth, no one out. And Herron, that's the pitch he wanted, his 6th strikeout tonight. So now a double play can get him out of the inning. Cunningham struck out his first at bat.
Well, once again, Herron throws a pitch that's in the zone, but it has a little wrinkle to it, whether it's that slider or cutter. But look at the location of this pitch. That's outer third and very hittable, but yet can't square up on it.
The infield, of course, remains back, looking for the double play chance. Cunningham trying to drive one, extend his hitting streak. Not
biting on the fake to third, throw to first move from Dan Herron.
Headley there at third. Hundley at first.
You know, the scoreboard says that's a cut fastball, and Herron does throw the cut fastball along with the slider. But to me, looking at that, that has the break of a slider. It's got tilt to it. It doesn't stay on the same plane as a cutter. So you can call it whatever you want. Call it a good pitch.
He jumps ahead of Cunningham, 2 strikes. This is where the veteran right-hander digging in and trying to bail himself out of trouble. 4 straight hits to open this 4th inning. 2 runs in on Gonzalez home run. 1st and 3rd with no one out. Hairston struck out. Now he jumps ahead of Cunningham, 0-2. Fly ball, but it's shallow in center. Young comes in. Here's the tag. Here comes the runner to the plate. He will score. Risky, but Headley able to sprint home. They're taking some liberties on Chris Young's arm. 3-1 San Diego. Credit Cunningham with his 13th RBI. I didn't think that was deep enough.
Yeah, I didn't either. I did not either, but as soon as that ball was up, Headley went directly back to third base, getting a little help from Glenn Hoffman, timing it just perfectly, and the throw was offline big time. That throw had a little bit of a hump to it. I thought it was going to be a better throw, a better chance, but luckily for the Padres, they scored the 3rd run in this 4th inning.
And better yet, Hundley able to move up to second base on the throw to the plate, and they will walk Gwynn intentionally and take their chances with the pitcher Garland. You don't get many free tickets from Herron. In fact, this is his first. Last year he averaged less than 2 walks per 9 innings. One of the best marks in the National League, and he's around that same total this year. Great control. Well, Garland a chance to help his own cause.
Sure. And the key here is just to make contact. Try to avoid the strikeout. We mentioned the errors by the Arizona Diamondbacks. Towards the bottom tier in the National League with 60 errors. A lot of fun and smiles in that Padre dugout, huh?
Yeah, that man will smile a lot. Already 19 home runs. Yorvi Torrealba there with hitting coach Randy Reddy. 2 on, 2 out to Garland. Ground ball toward the hole. Tough play for Drew. Long throw in time. And safe. First base umpire Demuth says that throw pulled first baseman LaRoche off the bag, or he left the bag early, which a lot of first basemen will do to get the call. They'll split hairs and try to come off the bag, and see our first appearance from the new manager, Kirk Gibson.
Well, John Garland not. Oh, that's kind of tough to tell there.
Sure looked like he had contact.
Yeah, he kind of came up on his toe a little bit. We'll be able to see it here. Oh, you know what? He was off the bag, it looked like a little bit.
On that angle, it did.
And Garland's pointing immediately after he crosses the bag. Looked like John saw the same thing. As LaRoche is going for the pick. Watch his foot up to his toe. You see daylight in between the bag. Let's see, John touches the bag, and then you're right. You know what? That's the right call. Dana Demuth got the right call, I think. That's what I saw.
And Garland credited with an infield hit. So the bases are loaded. The 9th man to bat in the inning, Jerry Hairston, the leadoff man. He's lined to center and struck out. 3 men have scored, 3 aboard for the Padres. 2 outs. Hairston with a chance to blow this one open. Ball 1. Couple of grand slams in Jerry Hairston's career. Ooh, right down the middle.
That looked like a curveball. Dan Herron breaking out the old number 2 late.
He's glad to get the ball back on that one because that was hanging right in the heart of the plate. Hundley, Gwynn, and Garland aboard. 2 out. 2-1.
Well, Herron missing big time on that last pitch. Montero was set up inside. He yanked it down and away.
Five hits in the inning. The action pitch, 2-1 to Jerry Hairston. Did he go round? Yes, he did. 2-2. Jerry Hairston doesn't believe it.
Now, did he call it on the swing or a foul tip?
On the swing.
Really?
Well, let's take a second look.
I think he went.
That ball wasn't even close. And perhaps umpire Eddings explaining that he didn't call it a strike, a called strike, called it on the swing. 2-2. Ooh, swung at ball 3 there. All right, Harrison's a good high ball hitter. .80 pitches now from Herron. Bases loaded, 2 out. Line drive, foul. Squared up on that one. Just out in front.
Out in front, just a little bit too much. You see Jerry Harrison choking up on that shillelagh just a little bit with 2 strikes. Now we're going to peek into Miguel Montero to see what he puts down. Kind of tough to see with the road grays. Fastball in, sinker in. If it's the first sign after 2. Yep.
There's a looper into right field for a base hit. 2 more runs will score, and the Padres lead it 5-1. Hundley from third, and Gwynn aboard on the intentional pass from second. Garland stops at second as Hairston racks up his 33rd and 34th RBIs of the season. What an inning.
That is the perfect example of why you should never give up an at-bat and never let a bad call that you think was a bad call get in your head and mess up the rest of your at-bat. It's called battling, and that's exactly what Jerry Hairston did. He got that pitch up, he battled to get to that point and dumps it in for 2 runs. Well, that's some kind of nice.
David Eckstein started this go-round with a ground rule double to left. He scored on Gonzalez' home run. Then Headley doubled. Hundley singled into third. Sacrifice fly Cunningham. Intentional walk to Gwynn. Infield hit for Garland. And the 2-run single from Jerry Hairston. 1-1. Runners at first and second with 2 out. Blaine Boyer begins to warm up for Arizona.
Got to get into that pen.
Corner at the knees, 1-2. Eckstein with a line single to left and a line double to left. There's Boyer, right-hander. Throws his bat at that ball, and that's not a foul ball, or is it? Trying to read Eddings' signal.
He's going to ask first base.
No, he's saying that he did not make contact when he threw the bat, and therefore that's strike 3. Eckstein thought he had thrown the bat and made contact. Sounded like he made contact.
Kind of tough to tell because that bat hits the ground so quickly, and very tough to tell.
Well, the inning ends unceremoniously, but there was plenty to cheer during that 4th inning as the Padres score 5 times. Gonzalez getting 2 of them with his 19th home run of the season.
Mid-game recap from America's Finest City is brought to you by Murray Lampert Construction. Do you need more space for a new guest? Well, visit MurrayLampert.com and see how easy it is and affordable a room addition or a second story can be. Dick?
Boy, you can make it sing there, big fella. Look at the
big piece
Is there
of
a
cheese.
man up there tonight?
Yeah, there's always a man up there.
Beautiful night in San Diego. And all the sweeter after that 5-run fourth inning as Garland goes to work, staked with a 5-1 lead. Bottom third of the order, Stephen Drew, Gerardo Parra, and the pitcher's spots. Of course, with Heron being a good hitter, we'll see whether or not new manager Kirk Gibson goes to his bench. He still has Boyer ready down the bullpen. Two and one. Drew lined out to right his first time up. Garland hasn't given up a hit since those back-to-back hits in the first inning scored the Diamondbacks run. This ball hit well to left center. Gwynn in the gap, and no, it's the left fielder Scott Hairston who calls him off and makes the play. Meanwhile, back east, Busch Stadium, St. Louis. St. Louis won last night and beat the Dodgers again tonight 8-4. Chad Billingsley, troublesome right-hander, managed only 4 innings, gave up 7 runs and 10 hits.
Well, Chad Billingsley, I mean, we know his stuff and his talent, and it just seems to be one of those guys, you flip a coin, you don't know what you're going to get. He certainly is talented. It's just another tough night for the right-hander.
Parra struck out, took a third strike. His only at bat. Colorado lost a 3-2 game at Cincinnati as the Reds continue to play great baseball. So 2 of the closest pursuers have been defeated tonight. Padres a chance if they can hold on to this game to improve their lead in the West. Dodgers started 2.5 back, Colorado 2 back. Giants just 3.5 off the pace. Slap foul.
Look out, Elite.
Wicked line drive down into that left field corner. That almost took the Itty off security.
Does this get him on the carom? It did. It got him on the right hip, it looked like.
Hey, you can't hit those guys. Ball and 2 strikes to Parra. As we said at the very start tonight, 74 games left for the Padres, 41 of them against National League West opponents, including these 3 with Arizona. They're going to continue to hold on to first. They've got to continue to beat the West. Now they have a 4-2 record against Arizona, an amazing 7-1. Mark Bruce Bochy even commenting, if we won our share of the games with the Padres, we'd be in first place, but that's not been the case. Dodgers and the Rockies have winning records against San Diego. Good curveball. Fouled away, 1-2. Garland looking for his first win against Arizona as a Padre. Grounded to the second baseman Eckstein, the only infielder in the majors that has not committed an error. Eckstein, that have played 70 games or more, and flawless again on that chance.
And with each out after the Padres throwing up that crooked number of 5 in the bottom of the 4th, it just sucks the wind out of the sails for these Diamondbacks. They've had a tough year, and John Garland is in control, it looks like. And
Heron will bat for himself. That's out of play. Well, that may represent a couple of things. Heron batting for himself. One, the bullpen has just been a disaster all season. You might as well let the starter go, even though the score is 5-1, and the fact he swings the bat so well.
Sure.
Why use a pinch hitter?
And Herron's going to throw a lot of pitches as well. I mean, as we mentioned, the last 5 years or so, he's thrown over 200 innings. He's good for about 118, 120 pitches. I think he's right around 85 or 90 tonight.
1-2 the count.
86 pitches for Herron. And like you said, Kirk Gibson's going to feel better with Dan Herron out there rather than going to the bullpen.
Just dropped out of the strike zone. 2-2. You can see Garland giving the opposing pitcher his best stuff.
Sure.
That ball hit well to center field. Wynn's got room. 1-2-3 for Garland. He hasn't allowed a hit since the first inning. Halfway mark. 5-1 San Diego. Baseball stories brought to you by Farmers Insurance. Find a Farmers agent, call 800-FARMERS or visit farmers.com because ready feels good. On July 16th, 15 years ago, Padres pitcher Lamar Hoyt earned the win in the All-Star game as the National League defeated the Americans 5-1 at the Metrodome in Minneapolis.
Tell you what, Lamar Hoyt, that guy could pitch.
What was his out pitch?
He could locate the fastball. He was a control-type pitcher, but he had a slider. Kind of sunk it a little bit. I remember watching him with the White Sox before he was acquired by the Padres. Just had a little trouble getting across the border, though.
You're mean. Gonzalez fly to left and homered to left. A 2-run shot into the first row. Got the 5-run scoring inning started last frame. Takes that tailing fastball away.
Hey, last inning, Dan Herron threw 31 pitches. So that pitch count getting up there.
2-0. 7-7 on the season. His ERA high for Herron, 4.36, and they're 2 pitches away from 90 tonight. We're just in the start of the 5th inning. Curveball. Took some speed off it and tantalizingly tossed that one at the knees in the heart of the plate. Jammed, and the shortstop diving, third baseman actually playing shortstop, and the catch made by Mark Reynolds. The shift was on, and he had a long way to go to catch a little foul pop-up.
That would have been so comical to see that ball as we take a look at this effort by Reynolds. Nicely done by the Diamondback third baseman.
It was a foul ball had he not caught it. Here's Headley, doubled the last time up.
That run probably seemed like a marathon for Mark Reynolds as he was going over towards that foul line.
And all the more importantly, Mark, it points out the value of Eckstein in this game, being on base both times ahead of Gonzalez. They couldn't put the shift on. That ball is hit by Headley. Back goes the right fielder, and touch them all. Upton watches that with his crowd at Petco as Headley has his 7th of the season. Seventh home run for number 7, Chase Headley.
A double in the 4th inning on a breaking ball. Let's see what it is. It looks like a cutter. Not a big breaking ball, but a little cutter. And once again, trying to get it in. And Chase does a nice job of getting those hands through. And just above the auxiliary scoreboard.
Ground ball pulled by Hundley, foul. And we got Boyer back up in the bullpen for the D-backs.
You know, with the way that ball was hit, I thought it was going to be at least in the stands.
I did too.
I really hit that well.
But then on the replay, he really got the ball inside. He didn't get the heavy end of the bat totally on the ball, but able to pull it sharply enough. Hundley fouls this away. So both home runs, Gonzalez to left field, first row, gloved by a fan.
Yep.
And Headley's doesn't make it to the first row and right. Hits that little, it's about a 5-6 foot area between the auxiliary scoreboard and the start of the stands in right field.
So it looks like Chase Headley has hit 2 breaking balls tonight. A curveball for a double and a cutter for the home run as we take a look where that ball hit above the Wells Fargo sign.
Hundley goes down swinging for the second out. Highest batting average in July, first half of this month. The Padres will show you are right in the money. The leaderboard brought to you by Los Primos Mexican Food, 18 Southern California locations, home of that monster burrito. Well, the Rockies, no surprise there, hitting over 300, well over 300 in this month. The Nationals, then the Padres, third best in the National League. Had their hitting close on in the last inning. Now have 6 runs on 8 hits tonight. That'll please the hitting master, Randy Reddy.
A lot of time in the cage, that man, Randy Reddy, with his hitters.
Fly ball shallow left center. Young. And the inning is over, but Chase Headley adds to the lead as he socks his 7th home run of the season. And we go to the 6th inning. Padres 6, D-backs 1. Legendary performance brought to you by Cabot Wood Stains. Who will ever forget 1988 World Series, down by 1, bottom of the 9th inning. Dennis Eckersley on the mound for the Cleveland Indians against the Los Angeles Dodgers. And up to the plate, pinch hitter Kirk Gibson on one leg. Wasn't supposed to play. Was it ever? The call of Vin Scully, and that changed the whole fabric of that World Series. The A's were favorite going in, and Gibson's home run got the Dodgers off to the winning start. Talk about every ball player in his life has a dream. World Series to hit a walk-off home run.
And you know what the interesting thing is about that 1988 Los Angeles Dodger team? As a club, they hit 248. But you know what their team ERA was? 296. Got a little similarity there.
What are the Padres hitting now?
Padres are hitting 250.
Oh, that's
and their
dangerous.
ERA is 3.25. They won it on pitching that year.
Chris Young leads off the sixth for Kirk Gibson's D-backs, and he rifles this one deep to left field into the corner. It is a foul ball. Just foul. Young has grounded out and walked tonight. And talk about shutting the door. Garland, since the first inning, has not allowed a hit. This was close. Look at him using body language.
Oh.
Wow. That almost scraped yellow off the pole.
Yes.
You can't miss more narrowly.
Oh, my. What's that about it? That's less than a foot.
Yeah, in tennis, they'd be calling for a review.
Yeah.
Mr. Umpire, I want a replay of that. That might be a fair ball. So back to home plate. Young just missing a two-base hit. 1-2 the count. The only run for the D-backs came in the first with one out. Kelly Johnson looping single to center, and Justin Upton followed with an RBI double to right center. And since then, Garland has not allowed a hit. He's walked a couple. Line to Headley. A little atom ball by John Garland. He'll take the first out of the inning and check in on Kelly Johnson. Single and a double play. 6-4-3 the last time up for Johnson. He's been a good acquisition. Well, it's been this Friday night, from the time the game started at 7, in the first hour, it seems like about 10 to 15,000 people have arrived.
And then you look up, and it looks like a pretty darn good crowd tonight.
Terrific crowd tonight. That ball line to right field. Coming in as Cunningham has to play it on a hop. And there's the third hit of the night, and Johnson has 2 of them. Brings up Justin Upton. Well, there's room for you tomorrow night. Big crowd expected. Cap night for the kids. Clayton Richard to go, the left-hander for the Padres against Rodrigo Lopez. Summer has arrived. We certainly welcome all the fans from around the country who have made San Diego a vacation destination. High slider. Man, at Park in the Park, $5 ticket. What kind of ticket is that, huh? $5, you get to come out there, have your picnic. And a lot of fans don't realize there are seats for those fans as well down below. See, there's accommodations for, I would say, what, a couple hundred out there. High strike.
Oh, those seats.
So you can, for $5, you have a seat right behind the right fielder.
Yep. And you can build a sandcastle and.
Well, that's what you do.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm going to watch the game.
Sure.
And I'll make sure you behave yourself. 0-2 the count. Not a bad pitch.
No, it's not. He tried to backdoor that sinker, that two-seamer. Hitters will give up on that pitch, and they'll just get that outside corner for the called strike, but he just missed.
1 out, 1 on. Off the corner again. Joe Thatcher starts tuning up. That's everyone fresh in the bullpen after the 4-day hiatus for the All-Star break.
Okay, let's get on the same page here, boys.
You weren't with us in Colorado. Tony was there for the 3-game series. Miguel Olivo, he set a new world record for visits. They had to stop in the middle of the game and resod the path between home and the pitcher's mound. He was out there so much.
Every other pitch, he's out there talking?
Every other. 2-2. And a foul.
Now, see, in Arizona, that wouldn't come into play because they've got that path.
That's right.
So Miguel Olivo.
Wouldn't you have liked a path for a pitcher? Wouldn't it? Seems to me that just helps you to focus zero right in on the strike zone.
You know what? That's a tough question to answer because every field I played on, it was either a skin infield or all grass. Never pitched with a stripe like that.
Count goes full again. See, Arizona, Detroit? Detroit has the path, I think.
Not sure. It's been a while since we've been to the Comerica Park. In fact, they do. Tiger Stadium, or Comerica Park is what it's called. So those are the only 2 parks.
I think there's one other, maybe Texas. 3-2.
Ooh.
That foul, is that a foul ball? I guess not. They throw him out at first base. Sounded like that one went off the front foot. He's ball that was hit into the ground that hard, you would expect it to either bounce high or at least go a distance. It didn't at all. Up and out.
One thing for sure, that bat shattered and kindling. As we take a look, no, it hit in back of his front foot. Just didn't get a good bounce off that dirt. You're right, though. I thought it would maybe take a higher hop.
Garland took care of the put out. And here's Montero, long out to center his last time up, grounded to first. He's 0 for 2. Chance to pick up a run out at second base. Six-1 Padres here, top of the 6th. Giants lead the Mets 1-0 in the top of the 6th up north. Dodgers and Rockies have lost. 1-1. Jams him 1-2. Johnson off second. 2 away and 1-2 coming up again from Garland to the cleanup man Montero. He got him. No runs, a hit, a man left. Middle of the 6th inning here at Petco. Padres 6, D-backs 1. 1,000 boys and Girl Scouts here with us, and the fan of the game brought to you by Fan Diego, your energy savings expert. For locations, visit fandiego.com. And if you're looking for ceiling fans, just go to Fan Diego.
Were you a scout?
Cub Scout. I was a Cub Scout.
Okay.
And I just couldn't pass the knot. You know, you had to tie knots.
Right.
I just couldn't get that.
Really?
You know. And then when I finally learned and tried to tie up one of my fellow Cub Scouts, the Scoutmaster didn't think that was very funny. Never made it to the Boy Scout level.
Yeah.
I was a Cub, though.
I was an Indian guide. Remember that organization?
Yeah.
My dad and I. Yeah.
Same principle.
Yeah.
Aaron Cunningham leads off the 6th. Chopper, and he's got speed to run this one out. The throw is not in time. Cunningham with his first hit, and he extends his hitting streak to 11 straight games off the new pitcher, Blaine Boyer.
Well, he beat it into the ground, and with the way the defense was playing, Cunningham, you can see that sinker from Blaine Boyer. Chopper to Hopper, barehanded grab, and it beats it out by a full step.
He's got terrific speed home to first.
You know what? He's got the whole package. It's not like he's going to win a Gold Glove or a Silver Slugger or a batting title, but he does everything really well.
He's jumped into the big league uniform and carried it well. Here's Tony Gwynn, walked and scored his last time up. Cunningham, by the way, a sacrifice fly in that 5-run 4th inning, and now has the Padres' 9th hit of the night. With the home run power of the D-backs, you can use all the runs you can get. Chris Denorfia is in the on-deck circle, so perhaps John Garland's night is finished with 6 solid innings.
Yeah, he's up to 112 pitches, so that's got to play into the pinch hitter being on deck.
Fastball inside, 96. He gunned that one up there.
Yeah, Boyer can get it up there now, 90 to 96 on the fastball. He also throws a slider, a changeup, and a curveball. Recently, though, he's been missing the strike zone. More walks than strikeouts this year.
And generous opposing hitters,
Oh, yeah.
312 average. High snap throw. Montero trying to keep Cunningham honest. Joe Thatcher continues to throw in the Padre bullpen.
Well, we talked about this bullpen for the Diamondbacks and the struggles that the bullpen has displayed this year. Collectively, worst in Major League Baseball, an ERA of 6.59.
Ooh. Up the middle, could be 2. Second baseman Johnson does it himself. 4-3 on the double play. 2 away. And they call back to Northia and Luis Durango, who is just recalled from Portland. As we told you earlier, Mike Adams and Matt Latos both placed on the DL 15-day. And Durango called up as an extra outfielder, pinch runner, pinch hitter. And his brief stay earlier, he was 5 for 13. Frightening speed. Chopped over the head. Shortstop Drew. And he can't make a play. That had to be fielded absolutely cleanly, and he couldn't quite make the transfer glove to throwing. And Durango comes back with an infield hit.
Well, with Denorfia on deck, and if Tony doesn't ground into that double play, there's still a runner on base. Denorfia's been putting the ball in play. That would have been a good guy to put up there. But since nobody's on base, Bud Black elects to go at the speed of Durango. And, with an infield hit like that, you start possibly another rally.
Durango kid aboard, and with 2 outs, a threat to steal. Back to the top of the order, Jerry Hairston. 2-run single last time up. He's 1 for 3, line to center, and struck out. Against Heron. Closing the book on the starter, Dan Heron. 5 innings, 6 runs all earned, 8 hits, a walk intentional, and 8 strikeouts. Beginning the 4th as the Padres 5 runs on 6 hits. Couple of infield hits here off Boyer in the 6th. High fastball to Hairston, and with Durango at first base, Hairston's got to be guessing he'll get some fastballs here.
Absolutely.
Ernesto Frieri, along with Durango, with the 2 spots open on the roster with the DL, Mike Adams, and Matt Latos. Durango called up, as well as the right-hander Frieri, who's had an excellent year at Portland. Fastball doesn't quite come back and get the corner. 2-0. Durango at Portland with 28 stolen bases to lead the Beavers. And there's Ernesto Frieri as he joins the group out in the bullpen. There goes Durango. Ball almost hits Hairston, and Durango, so much speed that his momentum almost carried him over and bagged the bag, able to maintain contact. So he's fun to watch.
Absolutely. You get that speed on base, you get in a scoring position and a chance to add on and make it 7-1.
I mean, he's a nightmare for catchers.
And almost overslides the bag.
Boy, the runway was really short.
Yeah, exactly. And that's another King Stallman stolen base for Kid Durango. Go, Durango.
The walk to Hairston. First given up by Boyer. So 2 infield hits, a stolen base, and a walk here in the 6th, but nothing to show for it as yet. As David Eckstein, 2 for 3, steps in. It's unknown how serious that rib muscle pull suffered by Adams in Colorado will be, but they feel a 15 days of rest will get him back. Latos, it's much less serious, and he indeed is scheduled to pitch unofficially in Pittsburgh a week from tomorrow. Right down the middle with the best fastball yet thrown by Boyer. Eckstein line single to left in the first, stole to 6th base, lined a ground rule double in the 4th to start the 5-run inning. Chop to short. Another tough play for Drew. And he gets him. Inning over. Padres with no runs, 2 hits, and leave 2. We've completed 6 at Petco. 6-1, San Diego. We go to the 7th. San Diego Padres baseball brought to you by Subway. Try the $2.50 Western and cheese melt with a cup of freshly brewed Seattle's best coffee. It's open at 7 a.m. Subway. Eat fresh. And by Cox Digital Telephone. Ready for cheaper calls? You bet. Go to Cox.com.
I've got the bundle at home. Cox bundle. Internet, TV, phone. Sorry about it.
So Joe Thatcher comes in for Garland. What a start for Garland after a tough first inning where he allowed a single and an RBI double. Only one hit thereafter as he goes 6 innings tonight, allowing the 1 earned run. Only 3 hits.
A great job by Garland, and a little bit of breathing room for the San Diego Padre bullpen after the All-Star break, and great numbers for Joe Thatcher in the first half.
Pours in a strike. Reynolds, LaRoche, and Drew. So got a right-handed hitter, Reynolds, to open the inning, and then a couple of 3 left-handers following him. Another strike. Yeah, there's so many ways that a pitcher tries to fool the hitter. It may be just great stuff. It may be technique. It may be motion. You just look at Thatcher. He just comes from Tijuana. Strike 3. That sidearm delivery, and you don't see the ball till it's out of his hand. He opens his duty with a strikeout of Reynolds. He goes down for the 124th time this year.
So Thatcher coming down from Tijuana and getting through the border quickly. Getting through customs, no problem. Send him back.
3 pitches, 1 out.
Uno, dos, adios.
Boy, you do come back hot off vacation. Let me write that one down. Ground balls right side, Eckstein on the grass. 2 quick outs.
Getting right back in that Padre dugout and try to add on to that 6-1 lead.
Coming up, the San Diego Hyundai Dealers 7th inning stretch. Your dollars get more MPG and the assurance of America's best warranty. Go to SanDiegoHyundaiDealers.com. Drew lined out and flied out. He's got to be especially tough on left-handed batters. And that's why he's in the bullpen.
Lefty's only hitting 148 off of Joe.
Jolton Joe Thatcher from Kokomo, Indiana.
Hey, righties are having a tough time as well. Only 161.
One and two.
You know, when Joe Thatcher was acquired in that trade with the Brewers, when he first came over, it kind of struggled a little bit. The numbers really weren't there. But I just had a funny feeling, along with a lot of other people, that through time he would settle in to be a very integral part of that bullpen. And he has done just that.
Wastes that pitch, but Drew didn't bite. Darren Balsley, one of his many pupils, 2-2. Joe's 25th game of the year. Struck him out. 1-2-3 inning for Thatcher. Solid pitching of the Padres continues. Stretch half of the 7th. 6-1, the home side. Every inch an all-star. Adrian Gonzalez. 2-run home run tonight. He's 1 for 3. Facing Blaine Boyer for the first time. Gonzalez, Headley, and Hundley. The shift is on. Third baseman Reynolds about as far off the bag at third as any teams send their shortstop. He's much closer to second than third, not just halfway. That's why he had to sprint to make that catch in foul territory. Look how close he is to second. They lined up the picket fence. They're almost equidistant, the 4 infielders. And he hits it to left field for a base hit. That would have been right at the third baseman, or a couple steps to his left. And it isn't as if Gonzalez was trying to pick up an easy hit. He says, I won't do that. If the ball's out there, I'm going to hit it that way.
Exactly. So let's see how he approaches Blaine Boyer. He's got the high sinker, and he stays on top of it. When a guy throws that hard, he doesn't try to pull it, and that's right. He just took it that way where it was pitched.
Third hit off Boyer, 11th for the Padres tonight, and here's Headley takes a strike. Sinking fastball. Headley is 2 for 3, doubled and scored, and hit his 7th home run of the season. That capped the scoring against starter Dan Herron. That ball hit to left, and that is going to fall in front of Parra. First and second with no one out as Headley has a 3-hit night. Randy's boys are ready.
Oh, yeah. They spend a lot of time in the cage. Go over a lot of scouting reports. Once again, a good approach. Just putting the ball in play, take your chances. Sure, Chase got jammed on that one. But it's better than striking out like the Diamondbacks with all those strikeouts. At least the Padres give themselves a chance putting that ball in play.
Hundley singled and scored in that 5-run 4th inning. He's 1 for 3. He singled to right field, chops this one up the middle, charged by Drew. Only one play as the runners move up. Gonzalez to third, Headley to second. With one out, a chance to build on the 6-1 lead. Scott Hairston steps in 0 for 3. Twelve hits for the Padres tonight. Only Hairston and Gwynn without a base hit. Infield will come in on the 6-1 game. They just feel they can't afford another run on an out. Ooh, that goes all the way to the screen. Did it hit Hairston? Apparently not. But it ricocheted back off the base of the backstop so quickly there was no chance for Gonzalez to come home.
I was going to say, Blaine Boyer throwing that fastball about 95, 96. You throw a ball that hard, it's going to carry him off. As we say, it's inside. It's off the glove, it looked like. And then off that Petco sign.
Out of play. That'll carry him back downstairs.
You know, with the infield drawn in, and you've got a guy like Boyer who throws hard, A, and B, sinkers, two things can happen that work to the advantage of the Padres. The broken bat jam shot over the infielders' heads because of the sinker, and the high chopper over the heads. That's the risk you take with a guy like Boyer and bringing the infield in.
Check swing, foul. Golden Foot Gonzalez able to stop that one. So the Padres go without a base hit after Eckstein's 1-out single in the first into the 4th, and then Eckstein led off with a double, and before the inning was over the Padres had 5 off the tough right-handed starter Dan Herron. in the dirt. And slider. So 2-2 to Scott Hairston. Scott played the role of tourist with his family during the 4-day break. Went out to SeaWorld, enjoyed one of the many great attractions here in San Diego. Loved the Dolphin Show.
Dan Marino putting on an act out at SeaWorld now these days?
They're just trying to get those wide receivers to go deeper. That is a fun day.
Oh, yeah.
When the kids were little. I think I enjoyed it more than they did.
And his brother Jerry took his family up to Legoland during the All-Star break.
So a full count now to Scott Hairston.
Oh, he had a hanger. He had a hanger to rip at.
Out of play.
Look at this pitch. Just out front a little bit and working underneath it just a tad.
Second and third, one out. 6-1 Padres. Last of the seventh. Full count on Scott Hairston with the infield tight. Went after ball 4. 5:35 tomorrow night. There's room for you. The weather's so very pleasant. The evenings here in San Diego, and come out, follow your first place Padres. And more are lending their support. Evidence tonight. That ball hit down the left field line. Fair ball. Padres will plate 2 more. Gonzalez is in. And so is Headley on a 2-run double by Scott Hairston. Didn't have that real sweet sound.
No, I think he broke his bat. And once again, Blaine Boyer's got some good stuff. You bring the infield in, and that ball would have found fair territory regardless of where the infield was playing. But elevating the pitch, as we take a look, it's elevated, it's in, enabling Scott to just service that ball down the left field line nicely. Adding on.
His 29th and 30th runs batted in this season. Padres enjoy an 8-1 lead. Here's Cunningham. Sacrifice fly and an infield hit. 1 for 2 tonight. Esmerling Vasquez throwing in the Diamondback bullpen. Well, that 4-day rest doing the Padre hitters some good, apparently. Breaking ball low. Three more hits here in the 7th inning. Too high. We were talking, and I didn't want to give any false information. My impression was that if you got a $5 Park in the Park ticket, that you could come down and sit in those seats.
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
And this is outrageous. You know what you have to pay to sit in those seats?
What do you have
almost
to pay?
$10.
A whole $10?
Yeah.
What a great value. So $10 for the Beachers. Those are called the Beachers.
$10 in the Beachers.
Wow. Life's a beach. And then you go up to the Park in the Park. That's a $5 ducat, right?
And Cunningham gets a free ticket. First and second. Still one out. And up comes Tony Gwynn. Gwynn, the only Padre starter without a hit. Garland got a hit, and Durango got a hit.
Yep.
Batting for Garland.
Once again, affordability here at Petco Park to have a good old time.
They've done everything they can. College students, $8.50 on Sunday.
Yep.
$5 a ticket if you order on Padres.com. And again, remember that offer is going to end as of the end of July. So if you want to buy any of your tickets coming up, go online. Family of 4 saves $20.
Yep.
Ordering their tickets. Those are, I've sat out there just watching batting practice. That's a great spot for $10.
Absolutely.
Where else in baseball would you sit behind the right fielder for $10? I don't think any place.
Well, we already know that the Padres' average ticket price is second lowest. Arizona is the lowest. Well, pitching change coming up for Arizona, brought to you by Mark Condos, luxurious downtown San Diego condos from the 300s. You should go to the marksandiego.com. In comes the new pitcher for the Diamondbacks, Vasquez. San Diego Padre baseball brought to you by Lolita's at the Park, where you can enjoy a wonderful evening. Happy hour 7 days a week. Happy hour tonight at Petco. 8-1 Padres. 2 on, 1 out. Gwynn takes a strike.
Well, another live arm out of that bullpen, but the bad number is the 6.59 ERA, worse in baseball. Vasquez, a 3-pitch pitcher. Fastball, slider, and a change. Once again, like Blaine Boyer, can get it up there 95-96. Once again, though, struggling with his control.
Ooh, good changeup.
Yeah, it was.
0-2 to Gwynn with Matt Stairs on deck. Apparently he will hit for Joe Thatcher should the inning continue. First and second, 1 out, 2 runs in. 8-1 Padres. Punched foul. You know, can't help but think about a statement that Daddy Gwynn said, Tony Gwynn, up in Colorado. We were talking about the big expanses of the Colorado ballpark, Coors Field. I asked him, could he have hit 400 if he played a full season as a Colorado Rocky? He looked at me and he said, I'd have given it a good try.
Yeah, he would have.
Yeah, he would have. He might well have.
You know, he may have hit 20 to 25 home runs as well in that ballpark.
1-2, the junior. Padres with 8 runs on 13 hits. 1 home run, Gonzalez.
And during Tony's time playing, that would have been pre-humidor. So that's when the ball was really flying. It doesn't. Humidor, no humidor. Tony would have hit 3-something, 4-something.
Fouled away. Well, he didn't even talk home runs. I mean, he just liked the fact that the outfielders, respecting the way the ball flies, play so deep that there's all that room over the infield to punch a hit.
They would rather give up the single than the extra base hit. That's right. That's why they always play deep.
Two and two. Yeah, Vasquez looks like he has good stuff.
He does. Good action on his fastball. We saw that good change up to Tony. If he could just harness that control, you know, going into this series, 16 walks in 30 innings plus.
Runners at first and second with 1 out. And now the count full to Gwynn. I'd like to see Gwynn get on there, load the bases for Matt Stairs, and see what the old veteran could do. 42-year-old Matt Stairs, who has tied the all-time pinch hit home run record with his 20th at Washington before the break. And they're loaded. Vasquez from 1-2 loses Gwynn, and here comes Stairs. Ask Matt what he did in his 4-day break for the All-Star game. In his family over to Las Vegas. He's raving about the Lion King. He saw the production of the Lion King. Be a nice time for him to roar right here.
Nice. I got it. Nicely done.
Oh, my. 8-1 with the bases loaded, 1 out to Stairs. Changed up.
Good first pitch from Vasquez with runners in scoring position. Matt Stairs looking for the fastball, so he pulls his string on him.
Grounded to short, could be 2. Drew to second, back to first in time for the 6-4-3 double play. Padres settled for 2 in the 7th on 3 hits and lead 1. That calls on Edward Mujica to work the 8th inning after Joe Thatcher, a perfect 7th, struck out 2 of the 3 men he faced. Mujica, a .219 batting average against.
And what really strikes out, one more strikeout, 43 than innings pitched at 42. The opponent's batting average, we mentioned that as well. But it's just a matter of keeping the ball in the ballpark for Mujica, as he could be very aggressive against these Diamondbacks as we go into the 8th.
Gerardo Parra to lead it off. Pinch hitter Augie Ojeda is on deck. And then the top of the order, Chris Young. Parra struck out and grounded out. That ball's hit hard to right field. Over Cunningham. No, he makes the catch going away. Oh, my.
Great break on the ball by Cunningham, and the way he turned his back, it looked as if he was about to play the carom, and at the last minute reaches up with a backhand stab. Doing more on defense. Yes, sir. Brought to you by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot.
At the last second, Cunningham reaches up with that leather and takes away. Parra tips his helmet. Nice catch, my friend. That's all you can do.
You can appreciate it as a fellow outfielder. Now Cunningham continues to sparkle both in the field and at bat.
Oh, happy days in right field.
Got it, Cunningham, right?
Yeah. Everybody's going to Arnold's tonight. Free pizza and sodas. Sit on it, Potsy.
Ojeda, the pinch hitter for Vasquez. So we'll have a new pitcher in the bottom of the 8th inning for the D-backs. There's Ojeda's numbers. Primarily used as a pinch hitter throughout this season. Fouls it out of play. Jordan Norberto warming up for Arizona as that ball threw Hundley onto the screen. There's the left-handed Norberto. Giants holding on to a 1-0 lead against the Mets in the 8th inning. Chop to first, foul. Matt Williams with the play. So if you're just joining us, Colorado losing 3-2 at Cincinnati. The Dodgers beaten at St. Louis. And that outstanding pitching staff of Bruce Bochy with the Giants. They shut out by Lincecum last night. Ground ball up the middle, and that's by Eckstein for a base hit. Ojeda off the bench with his single up the middle. All the more important, Cunningham's outstanding catch in right to start this inning. Chris Young 0 for 2 with a walk, the leadoff man.
I was reading the notes here about Edward Mujica and having a lot of breathing room here. 8-1 lead in the 8th. This stat really jumps out at you. He leads all major league relievers, folks, all major league relievers with a 10.75 strikeout to walk ratio. Now what that means is for every 10 strikeouts he only issues 1 walk. So he's got some good stuff now. And the one thing we've talked about is just that home run. That's the only thing, him giving up the long ball. 43 strikeouts, only 4 walks going into this game for Emu.
But sometimes he's wild in the strike zone.
Exactly. Yep.
And that ball flies. And that one is hit well to left field, but Harrison is there. 2 away.
We're off the end of the bat, staying off the sweet spot there.
And that brings up Kelly Johnson. He has half of the Diamondbacks' total of 4 hits. Looped a single and scored the only run back in the first inning. Came home on Upton's shot up the alley in right center field off starter John Garland. And then he singled to right his last at bat. Double play in between.
Okay, sometimes I like to play the look-alike game, like players look like certain guys. I think Kelly Johnson looks like a young Greg Nettles.
Oh, that's a good call. Yeah, I like that.
Doesn't he?
Mm-hmm. Hitting left-handed doesn't hurt either.
Yeah. Now Nettles, there's a guy who could play a little third base, yo. Oh, he was fun to watch.
Proud alum of San Diego State.
Yeah.
That one pulled deep but foul down the right field corner.
Man, he put a charge in that one, huh? Hang with him, though. Strike 2. Let's see if Mujica drops El Diablo on him. The old changeup that he throws. Like the pitchfork, the 3-finger changeup.
No, and it's hit high and deep to right. Cunningham drifting back and has the play. Cunningham started the inning with an outstanding running backhanded catch to deny Parra, and he closes the glove on Johnson's bid for extra bases. The eighth inning to stay tuned for the Sequan Casino postgame show with John Weisbart and Bob Scanlon. Sequan Casino postgame show immediately following the game right here on Channel 4 San Diego. Sequan Casino is San Diego's daycation getaway. Norberto, the fourth pitcher used by Kirk Gibson. And he will face the top of the order here in the Padre eighth inning. There are his numbers.
He's the only left-hander out of the bullpen for Kirk Gibson. Fastball, curve, and a change. Once again, another guy who can get it up there mid-90s on that fastball.
Jerry Hairston, two-run single in the fourth inning. He's walked as well, 1 for 3 tonight. Saw foul off first and behind the Padre dugout. Well, if you're just joining us, the Padres trailing 1-0, scored 5 in the fourth off starter Dan Herron on 6 hits, one of them a 2-run home run by Gonzalez. A solo homer by Headley in the fifth inning made it 6-1, and they picked up 2 more in the last inning on the 2-run double by Scott Hairston. Total of 13 hits tonight. John Garland, the starter, went 6 innings, allowing only 1 run and 3 hits. That one fouled off third and will just make it into the seats.
You know, that at bat for Jerry Hairston in the fourth inning when he fought off that pitch to drive in 2 runs, that was the classic example of a guy battling at the plate. Because remember, he had that called strike against him. They said he went
on the 2-strike count.
Exactly, on the check swing there. So he was in the hole choking up a little bit, and he drove in 2 runs by hanging tough.
That made it a 5-1 lead from 3-1. And the Padres have coasted since. And another foul.
Well, let's go back. He wanted it down and away, but Herron gets it up. It's a hanging breaky ball, and he gets jammed, but because the pitch is up, he fights it off. It was a full count pitch. You get 2 runs, and you, as you mentioned, Dick, made it 5-1, and that's huge.
Full count.
Or as they say back in the Midwest, huge. With no H, just huge.
No, they don't say that. They only say that in Chicago.
Chicago?
Where you're from.
Yeah, huge.
Huge. No H at all, right? The Bears. Rip foul. Almost took the jersey off Coach Hoffman. Backing him out of that box over there.
That security guard down there is getting a workout as well. A little hot under the collar there, Cha-Cha, huh?
He's fine.
Yeah.
Back with a 3-2. Upstairs,
Good
ball 4. Jerry Hairston walks for the second time tonight. Roberto walking the leadoff man. And that brings up Eckstein. A single and a double. 2 for 4. Ernesto Friere. So manager Bud Black may try to get in the youngster. Just called up from Portland. Like to see what he's got.
Perfect opportunity.
9th inning. The Diamondbacks have Upton, Montero, and Reynolds scheduled. Eckstein finding something humorous there at home plate. On the inside corner with a fastball.
Oh, Dick, a new homestand, right? That means a new blueprint is out for the fans.
Oh, yeah,
right?
the free
blueprint
scorebook. It's not a scorecard, but a scorecard's in the scorebook.
And one of the features, a guest writer, Ashley Eckstein, writes a little article about her career as
actress. She does voiceovers for cartoons and other things.
Star Wars.
2-1. The husband, David. Jammed on that. A little soft pop fly. Second baseman Johnson for the first out. And now time for the cold hard blast, brought to you by Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. And here it is, cold and hard and line to left for Gonzalez. Right to a fan with a Padre throwback jersey. Those were the first 2 runs of the night. And our Coors Light cold hard blast overcame that 1-0 lead, and the Padres went on to score 5 in the 4th inning.
And to the Arizona Diamondbacks, that was cold-blooded. That hurt.
Fastball misses. With a runner on first. Diamondbacks don't use that drastic shift. Shortstop Drew stays about 10 feet on the shortstop side of the bag. Gonzalez home run to left and a ground single to left. That was with the shift on. There's that free program. Young fans enjoying looking through, and nice pictures in there, a scorecard, and it's free for every admission. 3-0.
And what do you know? Jimmy G, our low third camera guy, is reading. He's looking to get that free chowder from Anthony's. There's coupons in there, free chowder, Petco, Wiener Schnitzel, Papa John's, your favorite. There's all sorts of coupons in there.
Yeah, I can tell now. You're going to be out there shopping tomorrow.
Oh,
yeah. 3-1 to Gonzalez. And he walks as well. So 2 on with walks from Norberto. And Chase Headley, the only Padre with 3 hits tonight. After striking out, he's doubled, homered, and singled. So he's just a triple away from the first ever cycle in San Diego Padre history. We'll see against whom he will face.
Well, no action in the Diamondback pen, as Mel Stottlemyre Jr. has a chat with his pitcher.
Headley batting right-handed. Yeah, the spot for a triple would be to right center field.
I was just thinking the same thing. Yep.
Wouldn't that be something finally after all these years? It's impossible that a Padre hasn't hit for the cycle.
And when you look at the way the defense is playing Headley from the right side, Chris Young is way over towards the shortstop side of second base. So if Norberto maybe makes a mistake up and away and Chase goes with it,
Line drive over the second baseman's head.
Over in Cox Alley there, where it's 400.
2 on, 1 out. Hairston and Gonzalez aboard on walks. There was the fastball away. That's out of play. Terrific Friday night, and it had to be a tremendous walk-up tonight. 33,177.
Nice.
To open this 3-game series. Fans itching to get back to Petco and root for the first-place Padres. Give them their support, and indeed they've done it in numbers tonight. Expect another outstanding crowd tomorrow night on Cap Night, and again on Sunday, always Military Day, Wallet giveaway, U.S. Marines Day, College Day.
Well, up and away. You see Chase kind of trying to go that way. But check out the last pitch from Norberto. He wants it down and in, but he gets it up and away. The perfect spot for a ball to be hit to right center field.
Hadley hitting right-handed for the first time tonight. 3 for 4 from the left side.
You know what? I wrote down in my notes last time I was working, and Chase from the left side uses maple. From the right side, he uses ash. Or it's the other way around.
Now you got me confused. You did it. Full count.
Well, maybe we can kind of look at the bat he's using. Because he uses the same handle. It looks like the same handle. I think it's right side he uses the ash bat and the left side uses maple. And you know what I asked him? I said, why? And he said, it's just a feel. It's just a different feel. No particular reason.
Full count. Norberto's already walked Hairston and Gonzalez here in the 8th. And he's now walked Headley to load the bases. So Headley joins Gonzalez and Hairston, and Kirk Gibson has seen enough as his young left-hander has walked the bases loaded, and Aaron Heilman will come in from the pen. And this Discount Tire pitching change brought to you by Discount Tire. For a free tire inspection and air gauge, that's the place to go. And if you're not satisfied with one of their tires, you can always feel free to bring it back and get a new one. Profile is brought to you by RCP Block and Brick. Create your dream yard today. Visit RCP. Block.com.
Aaron Heilman, the erstwhile Cub, fastball change and a slider. He has been their closer lately, but no close situation here. Kirk Gibson giving his right-hander a little bit of work here in the 8th.
Bases loaded on 3 walks. And ball 1. Nick Hundley, he's 1 for 4. Scored a run. Singled as part of that 5-run 4th inning when the Padres accumulated 5 runs on 6 hits. The big hit, the 2-run homer by Gonzalez. 2-0. No place to put Hundley. Sitting on a 2-0 pitch with the bases loaded. 3-0.
Wow.
No place to put Hundley. Another ball and another run. How about the Giants? Zito. 8 innings, only 2 hits. Back-to-back shutouts of the Mets by the Giants. Ball 4. A 4-pitch walk. Boy, you got to feel for the fans of the Arizona Diamondbacks. This is what has gone on all season long. The bullpen just adding fuel to fire.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the offseason for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Talk to some Diamondback people, and it's just one of the things, one of the needs that they need to repair for next year is that bullpen. Offensively, they need to cut down on those strikeouts. Because, you know, when you look at this lineup for the Diamondbacks as far as player for player and talent, they're really not that bad of a talented team. They're not that bad of a team, lineup.
No, you think back when we saw them in April,
Yeah.
you really felt they were going to have a good year. Base is still loaded for Scott Hairston.
Ball 5. Wow.
Hundley credited with his 27th RBI on the bases loaded walk to make it 9-1. Ooh, he changed up, left it in the middle of the plate, but Hairston out in front. Jerry Hairston has scored. Gonzalez to third, Headley at second, Hundley at first, all on walks. Off the front foot, foul ball. And a new piece of wood for Scott Hairston. A reminder, tomorrow, 5 o'clock, the pregame show brought to you by the 9 Honda dealers of San Diego County. Check out the latest offers on a brand new Honda Accord. And 5 o'clock, we'll have our pregame show for you. First pitch at 5:35. Lopez for the D-backs. Richard, the left-hander for the Padres.
Oh.
2-2.
Well, home plate has been moving around a lot tonight for the Arizona bullpen. 2 innings plus that they've pitched. 7 walks. Ouch, man.
That'll drive a manager up the
yeah.
wall.
Hey.
Oh, and that one hits him, and that's a painful way to get another run. Gonzalez comes in as Scott Hairston picks up his 3rd RBI tonight. Just as soon not have taken it that way.
Oh, that's probably one of the worst places that you can hit. Very sensitive. The small of the back there.
Right in the kidney. That's a kidney punch. So without a hit, the Padres have 2 more runs here in the 8th inning on 4 walks and a hit batsman. Bases still loaded, 1 out. Aaron Cunningham struck out, sacrifice fly, infield hit, and a walk for Cunningham, who is now hit safely in 11 straight games. Chance to build up his RBI count here with the bases full. There's a fastball strike. Well located. Yeah, if you're a Diamondbacks fan, this goes under the ugly column this inning. Another good fastball. Ten runs, 13 hits for San Diego. 1 run, only 4 hits for the D-backs. Yeah, the players, to the man talking about with their success this year, the Padres, that they're hoping that the crowd would start to arrive here at Petco Park, and they certainly have tonight. 33,000 plus. Almost hit Cunningham. In fact, he thought it hit his uniform.
I think by his reaction, you were right on, Dick. Kind of tough to tell there. Oh, I thought he went on the pitch. No, I'm kidding.
Would have been a double.
Yeah.
Smothers that foul.
Boy, it's got
up and hit him. Did it hit him in the face? Almost acted like it came up and knocked him in the jaw.
Oh,
that's a punch right on the button.
Yeah. You know, it's got to be tough to hit off a guy like Aaron Heilman. You don't know where that ball's going. You can't, look for a certain spot on the outer half of the plate because he might drill you on the inside part of the plate. He's having a tough time throwing strikes.
Popped up very high. First baseman LaRoche in foul territory for the second out. So Tony Gwynn comes up with the bases full of Padres. Tony has walked twice tonight. 0 for 2. He scored a run. The hits tonight, the leaders, Headley with 3, Gonzalez with 2, including a home run, Eckstein a pair of hits. The multi-hit players in the Padre order. Gwynn the only man without a hit, but he's been on twice with walks. Scored a run. Changeup. 8th man to bat in the 8th. 2 runs without a hit. A laborious 8th inning, even though the Padres have added to their 8-1 lead. Everett Cabrera in case is on deck. Would pinch hit. Too low.
That looked like the pitch. Remember earlier in the game that Tony was called out on? Remember that at bat? Back in the 3rd inning, that low fastball, that almost looked like the same type of pitch. Well, a lot's happened since then.
At that time, the Diamondbacks led 1-0.
Yep.
Up and in, 3-1. So a pitch away from walking in another run. Padre at every pillow. 2 outs. Oh, yeah, that was ball 4.
Yeah.
So if it stays this way, the Padres will move 3 up ahead of Colorado, 3.5 against the Dodgers and the Giants 3.5 back. Out of play with the runners going. They return. Hadley to third. Hundley to second. Scott Hairston to first. And wind them up and let them go again. Another 3-2 pitch. Ball 4. Oh my. Another run without a hit. Third walk of the night for Gwynn, and he's credited with his 19th RBI.
Wow.
11-1.
You know, and I'm saying this cautiously. Well, not cautiously, but just to say it. If the Padres end up winning this game, I say that kind of tongue-in-cheek, right? I'd hate to be in that clubhouse for the Diamondbacks after this one. That is no fun, folks.
Because here's what happens, as we all can surmise, this new manager has said, okay, we got 4 days off. We've had an ugly first half of the season. We're going to start the season. You can just hear what he's going to say. We're going to start the season anew. Everyone gets a fresh sheet.
Right.
You know, I'm going to judge you all what you do from this game on. And then to come out and play a stinker like this. Yeah. Much to the benefit of the Padres, 11-1. They've earned their way through that 5-run fourth inning, but this 8th inning is disaster. Cabrera goes after the changeup. Cabrera closed out the big win in Colorado the Sunday before the All-Star break with a 2-run homer, his first of the year. 1-1. Five walks and a hit batsman here in the 8th. There's a strike, 1-2. Padres accepting a 3-run donation from Wild pitching out of the bullpen of Arizona. Bases still loaded. 9th man to bat in the inning. We've not seen this kind of generosity all season long.
Now, even though what's impressive about these Padre hitters, they're still putting together good at bats. You know, there are times when guys will swing at bad pitches because, okay, we've got the lead. They try to get a hit here and there, but they're still taking walks.
Line drive up the middle, base hit. That'll score 2. Nope, they're only going to check in 1. They could have scored easily enough there, but Hoffman in an 11-1 game. There's no need to pour it on. Hundley scores the 4th run of the inning as Cabrera drives in the run, and you just see that young Everett Cabrera is getting his hitting stroke back after the injuries that put him on the shelf. DL a couple of times this year. He joins the hit parade, the only hit of the inning.
Takes that ball that's middle in and gets those hands through nicely and spanks it right to the center of the diamond. Nice job, and it's tough. Derek Hall on the left, the president of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Tough night for Derek. It's been a tough year for Derek.
Way outside as we're back to the leadoff man, Jerry Hairston. He started this 8th inning with a walk. He scored a half hour ago. 1 hit in the inning and 4 runs more for the Padres. One and 1. 12-1. San Diego couldn't wait to get back in uniform after the break. Let's hope they don't spend all the runs tonight. It's Arizona fans here. That'll be out of play.
Yeah, you like to put some of those runs in escrow, possibly, huh? For the next night.
You just know it's going to be a 2-1 game tomorrow night. It's almost automatic, isn't it?
And if you're the starting pitcher tomorrow night, which is Kevin Correa, correct?
No, Clayton Richard.
Oh, Clayton Richard. Clayton's probably thinking, hey, guys, can you, maybe save
just
some,
a couple.
Save
just
some for tomorrow?
Base is still loaded. 10th man to bat, Hairston. Count 1-2.
All the starters tonight for San Diego in RBI, except David Eckstein and John Garland.
All three of the 4 runs charged to Norberto on his wildness. All 3 men that he walked have come in to score. Heilman, who walked the first man he faced, Hundley, that run has come in. Padres still up there hacking.
Oh, yeah, don't give away at bats.
Hairston lined out, struck out, 2-run single, and 2 walks. 1 for 3. He's knocked in 2 and scored 1. Gonzalez has scored 3 times. Headley scored 4 times tonight on 3 hits. Off the handle, fielded by Reynolds, and he throws him out by a stride. And mercifully for the Diamondbacks, the 8th inning comes to an end. 10 men bat for the Padres. They score 4 runs on 1 hit. 12-1. Portland. Look at the standings brought to you by Mossy Ford and Mossy Toyota in Pacific Beach. We make it happen for you. Our producer Ed Barnes reluctant until the Padres close the deal to give them a half game over the Rockies and Dodgers, but that's what will happen if the Padres get the final 3 outs. They'll be 3 ahead of the Rockies, 3.5 in front of the Dodgers, with the Giants moving ahead of the Dodgers 3 back. So a productive night apparently for San Diego.
Well, Frieri's got to stay away from the 3 grand slam inning to have the Padres go home happy on this one. This guy came up last year and he showed that he has got some good stuff.
What do you like about him?
Oh, live fastball, moving fastball. The numbers in Portland look great. Turns 25 on Monday.
95 mile an hour on the fastball.
Free and easy out of that hand of Frieri. As Andy Ashby would say, the former right-hander, free and easy.
He faces Upton, Montero, and Reynolds. 3 good hitters testing his stuff.
Look at that live fastball. 95.
You know, Portland has had a difficult year in the PCL. They haven't won a lot of games, but Frieri has done a great job when asked to come into pitch. He's 3-1. He had 17 saves with the Beavers. They didn't have many more wins than that.
That's his curveball that we just saw, trying to bury it down and away, but he did not bite after that. Upton spitting on that last pitch.
Always a relief pitcher until last year at San Antonio. He started most of the year. Ooh, just missed. And he said that really helped him to work on his curveball and his changeup, because as a relief pitcher he was relying solely on his fastball.
Right.
Now he's got those in his repertoire and back in the bullpen where he's most comfortable. Popped up near us.
Yeah, out of the bullpen, you want to get in, get out. So you're pretty much a 2-pitch pitcher. Some guys will throw 3 pitches. But as you mentioned, Dick, you get that starting role, you have a chance to set up hitters more. So you'll utilize pitch number 3 and pitch number 4.
See what he comes in with. 2-2. Fastball popped up. Adrian. No, it's Oscar Salazar. Salazar into the game at first base, giving Gonzalez the 9th inning off. Cabrera stays in at short, with Jerry Hairston moving over to second base. Cabrera with a pinch hit tonight. Luis Durango just called up from Portland, a pinch hit infield hit. Fastball nails the outside corner. Montero 0 for 3. Ground out, fly out deep to center, and struck out. I like this guy's bat.
You know, it's great about this, the opportunity for Frieri. Sure, they lead by 11 runs, 12-1. But this kid is getting a chance to get an inning at the big league level and finish a big league game. I mean, that's a good feeling. I don't care what the score is. 1-0, 12-1. You get that last out. You get to shake hands with the catcher out there. You get to greet your teammates after victory. Oh, my goodness. That's electric.
Right down the middle. I don't know what Montero was looking for, but how could that not be a strike? Look at this location right there.
Absolutely. Nick Hundley didn't even move his glove.
He pitched 2 times last year when called up late in September, 1 inning each time. Did not allow a run, 1 hit. There's that slurve, as Buddy Black referred to his breaking pitch.
In fact, Frieri made his major league debut last year, September 26th against the Diamondbacks, an inning, 2 strikeouts.
Right at the end of the season. Fastball at 94. 1-1 now to Mark Reynolds. He has struck out twice and walked. There's a good heater, and the Diamondbacks are down to their final strike. Mission accomplished. The Padres 12-1. They come back from the All-Star break with their hitting close on. Good to have Frieri, a positive finish here in the 9th inning. Everyone contributing in a lopsided 12-1 win tonight. And we'll be back with the final totals here from Petco Park after we pause for these words.